is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, juicy, tender, saucy, amazing butter chicken wings. Coming up. This is some chicken. Pat them dry. And what I got here is some chicken wings, all 3 pieces still attached. And I tried to find the biggest chicken wings I could at the store today, which is something I usually only do if I know I'm gonna be grilling wings or maybe throwing them on the chud box or the smoker or something. But if I'm frying wings, I like to find the smallest ones possible, just because the bigger wings tend to dry out in the fryer, but on a pit like a grill or a smoker, having a little extra meat and a little juicier of a wing is what we're after. And I've been debating all day whether or not I should leave these whole or break them down into individual wings, because I love the presentation of a whole wing like this, especially with a curry style wing like we're doing, but I really hate eating them like that because you got to break them apart anyway, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I think for eating's sake, we're gonna go ahead and break these into individual wings, which is incredibly easy to do if you've never done this before. Simply just find the joint, go right between it, and snip them apart. There's really not much to it. I see a lot of people that'll kind of like snip the skin and then try and pop them out this way, but really, if you just go for the corner, you can get right through it really quick. Snippity, snip, snip. Also a great way to save a little bit of money because you can buy these wings already broken down, but as you can see, I'm ripping through this in like 2 minutes flat. And these cost less because I'm doing a little bit of the work myself instead of paying some butcher at the grocery store to do it. Also, oftentimes if I ever do buy the wings that are already broken down, there's a lot more broken bones because they just get handled a little bit worse and more roughly by the factories. And there we go, all broken down. I'll save these for my next batch of chicken stock. And now our wings are ready to go. A lot of people claim they keep their wing tips for stock, but I actually do. I make a lot of stock, but I'm gonna set these aside for a little bit because we need to make ourselves a marinade. Our marinade includes some garlic, 4 cloves to be exact, as well as some ginger, an equal amount, followed by the juice of 1 whole lemon. Can't believe that didn't get in my eye. Got everywhere else. The juice of most of a lemon, followed by some Greek yogurt, in some neutral oil, some kosher salt, Kashmiri chili powder, some turmeric, some garam masala, cumin, coriander, and some ground up fenugreek. It smells a lot like cheap maple syrup. Very interesting stuff. And get that all nice and mixed up. Beautiful. Love the color on that. And now all we need to do is add our marinade to the wings. And if I wasn't filming this, I would have just started with the marinade and then trimmed down the wings afterwards, but you know how it goes. And now we're just gonna get in there and make sure everything is nicely mixed up, full marination coverage all over all these bad boys. And honestly, they smell really good and look good enough to eat already. Looks like fried chicken. And that is looking perfect to me. And you may have noticed, it is in fact nighttime right now, and that's because I'm doing an overnight marination on these bad boys. But really a few hours should be good. You could probably go up to a couple days if you really wanted to, but there's a lot of acid in there, so I don't want to go for too long, but I want all those flavors to develop and really penetrate into the chicken wings, as well as letting those acids from the yogurt and the lemon juice and whatnot really get these things nice and tender. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. 1 overnight marination later. These wings are looking fully marinated, but really looking pretty much exactly the same. Marinade tightened up a little bit. These look really good. They smell absolutely fantastic. Lots of herbs and spices in there. Definitely a lot of flavor going on. So now I'm going to pull some of these out to throw on the old pit. Probably not going to cook all of them. And I'm not going to try and get all this marinade off, but I don't want to leave too much on there. But because it tightened up a little bit, these are actually looking pretty good. So happy about that. You know, that marinade's going to cook on a little bit, add some more flavor, and hopefully they're nice and tender. But I think it's time we fired up the pit. And on the pit we go. Got the old chud box here fired up to about 300, 325. Hearing some nice sizzle while these go down. I'm gonna cook these pretty hot and fast today. And you could do these on whatever kind of pit you got. On the grill would be great. I think traditionally it's done in a tandoor oven. So some nice hot heat is what you're after, but I didn't want to go on the grill because I didn't want to cook them too direct and risk all that marinade burning. So I think the chud box is a perfect choice for the job. No wood today, just going charcoal fire. And we're gonna rock these until they reach probably around 180 or so internal. And again, if you have one that has too much marinade on there, you might want to wipe some of it off, but this is looking like a perfect coating to me. So we'll check back in on these in a little bit. And while those wings cook away, let's go ahead and get our sauce ready, starting with a little bit of veg prep. And to get our sauce started, we're gonna go in with some butter, the namesake of the dish, and get that melting down. And then go in with our garlic and ginger. Also going with our Serrano. Little bit of heat, a little more flavor. And just get that toasting down for a couple minutes. And once that is smelling absolutely fantastic, we'll start going in with our spices, including some kosher salt, some turmeric, Kashmiri chili powder, some garam masala, some coriander, our ground fenugreek, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, some cumin, and some cardamom. And we're just gonna get that toasting in the butter as well to really unlock all of their flavors. That smells absolutely ridiculous. And once those are toasted down for a couple minutes, we're gonna go in with some tomato puree. Ooh. And get that cooking away. And when it comes to tomatoes, you can use pretty much whatever you got. Some Roma tomatoes or any kind of half tomatoes you can throw in there, or blitz them up beforehand. You could also just go in with some tomato puree and just kind of let that cook down for a minute. That would make this whole process a lot easier because now we're gonna reduce this puree down a bit just to let all those flavors kind of come together. But I figured the puree would be a nice easy route because there's not as many chunks to worry about, although we are gonna blend this in a little bit. But for now, we're just gonna simmer it for the next few minutes until it thickens up and hydrates all those spices a little bit. Back over here at the Chud box, I just came through and flipped all these wings over, and they are looking pretty good. I was kind of going for a hard char on there to kind of mimic that tandoor oven situation. Some of them got a little bit further than I was hoping for, but that's mostly just the marinade cooking on. But pretty happy with how these are looking, getting nice and crispy, smelling so good. But now we're gonna let them cook on this other side for a little bit. And now that our sauce is simmering away, we're gonna go in with one final ingredient, which is some cashews. Let these cook down with tomatoes, soften up. That's gonna help thicken the sauce and add some great flavor as well. So it's been about an hour on these wings and they're starting to come off and they're just looking absolutely beautiful. And I'm gonna have to try one of these just fresh off the pit because they look so good. And they feel just incredibly tender just by picking them up. Some of the meat kind of stuck on a few of them and it just wants to tear apart. So you know they're super tender from that marinade. But they're rocking about 180 or so internal and I'm just loving that crispy skin. I mean, come on, look at that. Very excited. So these are gonna come off. I'm gonna let them rest down a little bit while we finish off our sauce, which has been simmering for about 20 minutes at this point. But I don't even know if we need a sauce. Looking at these, I mean, come on. Back over here, our sauce has reduced down by probably about half. It's starting to look a little bit thick. Definitely smelling good. Those cashews have softened up and it just smells so good. I'm gonna go in with a little pinch of sugar just to balance out the acidity from the tomatoes. Just a pinch, not too much. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of heavy cream. Just kind of by color until it starts kind of looking orange like a buffalo sauce, you know? That cream's just gonna add a lot of nice, rich mouthfeel and body to this sauce. And a little more fat to the party, which is always good. And then lastly, to make sure everything is nice and smooth, we're gonna go with the old stick blender. And just like that, looking nice and smooth and nice and velvety. And because it is butter chicken, oops, we're gonna emulsify in a little bit of cold butter right at the end just for a little bit more of a luxurious sauce. And it is a wing sauce after all, you know? That's how a lot of wing sauces are made. You make a hot sauce and you cut it with butter at the end. It just makes sense, folks. But we're gonna stir this until that's all melted in. Maybe add a little more, I don't know. Then we're gonna test it for salt and our sauce will be done. And just like that, sauce is done. So now we gotta grab our beautiful wings and we're just gonna dunk them right on in there. If this was traditional butter chicken, it would be boneless pieces of chicken thigh or chicken breast or something, and you kind of cook them and stew them in here for a little bit. But because our wings are fully cooked and our sauce is fully cooked, all we really need to do is kind of toss these like wings, which you could also just do in a bowl, I suppose. But we're just gonna nestle these in there, make sure everything is nice and hot, and then we'll plate up. And I gotta tell you, I'm starting to get real excited. And there they are, folks, in all their glory, some beautiful butter chicken wings. And I'm telling you, if you put these out at a football game, without telling people, I'm pretty sure you could convince them that these are buffalo wings. That is unless, of course, you garnish them with some freshly picked cilantro. Boop, isn't she pretty? Gotta say though, folks, I'm liking the presentation, I'm liking the smells, but really it's all about how do they taste. Let's find out. These are looking particularly messy, so I think I'm gonna glove up for this one, folks. Mostly because, you know, I'm a one-man camera crew here, but where to start? Start out with a beautiful drummy, shall we? Oh yeah, oh, oh my God, that is so flavorful. Oh yeah. That might be the fastest bell ring yet. Oh, that is so good. Oh, it's so tender. Good Lord. There's nothing not to like here. It's a saucy wing. The meat is like almost too tender. Let's see if we can pull the bones out of this. Boop. Yeah, bottoms up. Oh. Whoa. There's just so much flavor going on. Oh yeah. Such a clean off the bone wing. The cilantro, definitely worth it. Yep, not gonna lie, I just paused the camera and knocked out like 4 of these things because they are really good and also it's my dinner. But I gotta say, this recipe is fantastic. The level of flavors is perfect. You got a little bit of that background warming spice from the clove and the cinnamon. You got some heat up front, but it's definitely not spicy. And then just all like the beautiful curry flavors from the garam masala and the coriander in there. It's just so flavorful and everything is in perfect balance, which is great. But underneath all of that, you got that direct heat barbecue crispy skin chicken, which is just such a welcome addition. Wonderful combination of flavors. There is some good news and bad news about this cook. Good news is they're really tender. Bad news is I think they're a little too tender, which in turn is good news because that means you don't need to marinate it for as long as I did. You know, I think probably an hour or 2 in that marinade and then throw them on the pit is all you need because these are falling apart pretty much, which is great when you're eating traditional butter chicken because you're eating it kind of like a stew or over rice or with bread or something like that. But for finger food like wings, I think we want them a little bit less fall apart, but still, that meat is just so tender and so flavorful. 1000% doing this again. Oh, that sauce is so velvety too, from all that cream and butter. And it's just jam-packed with flavor. I need to make curries more often. Oh, that's phenomenal. Y'all definitely got to give this one a try. I mean, come on, look at that. Look at that big old wing. I kind of want to do it with drumsticks or something. That'd be pretty fun. Even bigger version. I'm not going to stop. It does make me think, though. I wonder if I could simplify this sauce to be a little more in line with a wing sauce and a little less traditional curry. Like, something tells me you could just put some tomato puree and all the spices in a high-speed blender and get that ripping, and then add some cream at the end. And you could probably get pretty close to this in, like, 30 seconds. Next time I'm at the Chud shop. That's where the Vitamix is. I'll give it a shot. I'm still going. I'm gonna eat them all. I've already had an alarming amount. And I've got more in the fridge, which I'm definitely gonna have to cook because I don't want them marinating any longer. But it does make you think, like if you did these with some fried wings or some grilled wings or on the smoker or something. The possibilities. But before I demolish even more of these, I think it's time for the official taste test. Feeding curry to a dog. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic butter chicken wings. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, it's a pretty quick and easy thing to make. Wings are on the grill for an hour. And other than like the Kashmiri chili powder, it's a lot of really common ingredients and a fantastic option for a weeknight dinner. And this is the second time I've ever made a curry, and I gotta tell you, it pairs super well with the flavors of barbecue and things off the grill. And I highly recommend giving it a try very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.